Let's do a little look at problem solving with proportions, and we'll start out with a problem that doesn't involve a situation, a true story if you will, just to get us used to this. Remember, a proportion is two fractions set equal to one another, and they are true, if you will. So we all know that 2 over 4 is equal to 1/2. We also all know that their cross products, 2 times 2, which is 4, is equal to 4 times 1, which is 4. So that product and that product are always equal to one another. And that's the cool thing about proportions, is that they're so easy to solve by setting cross products equal to one another. And there are many, many problems, real problems in our world that involve proportions. But let's start with this one. The number 12 divided by the number 12 divided by the sum of x and 2. So this is where we put our plus sign between the x and 2, because it's the sum, means to add, divided by the sum of x and 2 equals, so that's my equal sign now, the quotient, which means another division problem. The quotient of 4, so 4, and so the quotient, this is where the divide by symbol goes, the difference of x and 2. The difference of x and 2 is written like this. You do not write it backwards. When it says the difference of something, it's this first one, take away the second one. So we've got our problem set up, and we're ready now to set the cross products. 12 times x minus 2 equal to 4 times x plus 2. So again, 12 times x minus 2 equals 4 times x plus 2. And now we go about our business of solving this equation. It's really quite simple. So we distribute. We get a 12x minus 24. Then a 4x, and 4 times 2 is 8. Now I'm going to get x on one side of the equation, so I take the smaller coefficient. 4 is smaller than 12, so that's how I choose to do that. And now I will get the 8x alone by adding the 24 to both sides. And I'm almost there. 8x is all alone on the left, 32 on the right. And when I divide both sides by 8, I find out that x is equal to 4. Now, go back to the original problem that we wrote. We wrote 12 over x plus 2 equals 4 over x minus 2. I'd like to talk about some restrictions on the values for x. For example, right here, x cannot equal 2. Because if you put a 2 in here, 2 minus 2 would give you 0, and 4 divided by 0 you can't do. So that's a restriction. The value for x cannot be 2. Another restriction is that x cannot equal a negative 2 right here. Because if you put a negative 2 in and added 2 to it, you'd get 0, and 12 divided by 0 is undefined. You can't do that. Well, our answer to our problem is 4, so it's okay. It's not one of these restricted values. However, I would like to put a 4 in here for x and a 4 in there for x to do a check to see if my solution is correct. So my original problem was the 12 divided by x plus the 2, and 4 divided by x minus the 2. And in each case, I put in a 4 for x. So on the left side, I have 12 divided by 6, which is 2. And on the right side, I have 4. 4 minus 2 is 2. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. And I know I got this problem right with my answer of x equals 4 because I checked it. Okay, let's look at the problems that are more applicable. Read it once. Read it again. But what's most important here is that these units, a 165-pound person weighs 62 pounds on Mars. Let's write that as a fraction. A 165-pound person weighs 62 pounds on Mars. The location is important on Mars because we want to compare that, because the ratio would be constant or would be the same for a different object. So now we've got an 11,000-pound elephant on Earth. We want to know how much does an 11,000 pound elephant weigh on Mars. It's supposed to say weigh on Mars. So how much does an 11,000 pound elephant, what is its weight? What is X? And remember that this is on Mars. And so now we set the cross products equal. So right here we have 165 times X. On the right side we have 62 times 11,000. I take the units off when I go about this process now. I get my calculator out, and 62 times 11,000 is 682,000. And then I've got to divide it by 165 in order to get X alone. And I find out that the elephant weighs, if you will, I'm going to put approximately 4,133 pounds on Mars. I rounded it to the nearest pound. And remember, if you wanted to, you could take your calculator and take 165 and divide it by 62 and get a decimal number, 2 point something. Then take 11,000 and divide it by your answer of 4133, and you should get 2 something. And if those ratios are exactly the same, then you know you got your answer correct. All right, let's do another application. This is a cooking application. So 3/4 cups of oil, I'm going to use red here, cups of oil to make 1 1/4 cup of salad dressing. That's my ratio. 3/4 cups of oil. I put all the words down to keep myself straight, to make 1 1/4 cup of salad dressing. The reason I do that is because over here on the right side of the proportion, I have to have something that represents cups of oil here in the numerator, because cups of oil was in the numerator over here. And down here, cup of salad dressing. That lets me know where X has to be in these, if it's in the numerator or the denominator. Is it in the numerator or the denominator? So it says how much oil is required. How many cups of oil X is required. If you need to make 4 cups of salad dressing, 4 goes with this cups of salad dressing. That's how I know X goes upstairs. Here I put cups of oil, so X has got to be upstairs for cups of oil. I now set the cross products equal. So 3/4 times 4, that's going to be nice because that's equal to 3. On the right side, 1 1/4 times X. That's this product. So again, on the left side, the 4's cancel out. 3/4 times 4 is 3. On the right side, 1 1/4 is 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5/4 X. When I divide by 5/4, both sides, the number 3 divided by 5/4 is 3. And if you need to put that over 1, times 4 over 5, because when you divide with fractions, you flip this fraction and multiply. This is 12 over 5. So you need 12 over 5, or 5 goes into there twice, with 2 left over, cups of oil. Again, it makes sense. I want to go from 3/4 a cup up to quite a bit more. 3/4 up to quite a bit more, because I want more than 3 times this recipe, because I want to go from 1 1/4 up to 4. So a little bit more than 3 times that recipe. All right, we're going to make a concentration. You know, sometimes you buy things at the at Lowe's or Menards or the Farm Bureau, and you have to turn it into a product that you will use because it comes in a concentrated form. So here we've got a bug spray that comes in a concentrated form, and 3 ounces of concentrate is put in with 2 gallons of water. Those are the directions. 3 ounces of concentrate. That's what the directions. This is, you will do this in your life someday. Goes in with 2 gallons of water. I mean, you might even, some people use vinegar and water to make a cleaning product. And there's, you know, on the internet they tell you how many ounces of vinegar to put in so much water. And if you want to make a bigger proportion, you can. So it says how many ounces of concentrate. Here's ounces of concentrate. So that would be X. How many ounces of concentrate are needed to mix 7 gallons with 7 gallons of water. It's because I want to make more. I don't want to make just 2 gallons. I want to make 7 gallons. So I've got to figure out how much concentrate to put in. So I'll set the cross products equal. 3 times 7 is 21. And let that equal 2 times x, which is 2x. So I'll divide by 2. And because I'm doing this, truly doing this, because I need this concentration, I'll take my calculator, 21 divided by 2, and I'll see that I need 10.5 ounces. I'm going to go ahead and write it over here. 10.5 ounces of concentrate in order to make my product that I want to spray for bugs. Good applications. Really, really important to understand for your real world as you own a home and deal with some of these kinds of things. Even buying products like shingles for your home or paint for your house. Enjoy.